Ripple-backed Evernorth now holds $1 billion in XRP tokens. We're going to explore what impact this is going to have with the rest of the market. We also have some new information from Jack McDonald about Securitize. We have some ton of updates about 100 million ledgers on the XRPL upcoming and some new information around ETFs. Let's explore all of that news and more in this video, guys. Let's start here with Coin Bureau. Ripple-backed Evernorth just bought over $1 billion in XRP for its upcoming XRP Treasury launch. Here is the full update. Evernorth, a Ripple-backed company, has made headlines by accumulating over $1 billion worth of XRP, basically 388.7 million tokens, as a part of its Treasury initiative ahead of its planned NASDAQ listing. This marks one of the most significant institutional buys in XRP's history, with Evernorth quickly establishing itself as one of the largest institutional holders of the assets. Why is this significant for XRP? Evernorth's purchase is unprecedented for an altcoin outside of Ethereum and Solana and signals a strong shift in institutional settlement towards XRP. The move is expected to dampen retail-driven volatility and absorbing up to 2% of XRP's liquid supply within a year, potentially reinforcing price stability in depth. We need more liquidity to come in. This is a form of that. I also believe this will put pressure, maybe pressure is the wrong word, but it will incentivize other institutional players looking to build their own type of XRP related treasuries. The more companies that get involved here, the more liquidity, more the XRP that is taken off exchanges, the less available supply. And we know what happens when supply drops, the price goes up. This initiative combines elements of traditional corporate treasuries within blockchain strategies, including DeFi yield generation, lending, and liquidity provisioning. This approach could help grow XRP per share for equity holders and support long-term ecosystem growth. I was talking to my dad about this actually, and he's like, what's the ticker? When can I buy this? So there is interest in just my immediate family to participate in something like this. And I bet you're talking with your family. Make sure that they know that Ripple is making moves here with Evernorth, and there is a way to participate here. Obviously, talk with that financial advisor. Make sure you know what you're getting yourself into. It does talk here about institutional adoption and the ripple effect. I love that. Evernorth's treasury vehicle will be traded under the ticker XRP and giving public investors direct regulated exposure to XRP through equity markets. The firm is supported by Ripple and prominent entities like SBI Holdings, Pantera Capital, Kraken, and of course, Ripple co-founder Cas Laurens. The market sees this as a supply shock event, with Evernorth establishing new standards for institutional asset accumulation and encouraging other firms to view XRP as a strategic yield generating asset. Now, once Ripple and Evernorth here prove that they are successful in this new venture, everybody else is going to be looking to do the same thing. And I think this is going to put tremendous pressure to buy whatever's left here off the open market. And this is really what retail is waiting for, this institutional adoption. So Jack McDonald did post this. Let's shift gears here. Very exciting news from Carlos Domingo and Team Securitize. They're announcing their IPO plans. Let's just check this out.
I do believe we're just at the beginning of the tokenization of all assets.
Tokenization is a freight train. It can't be stopped. Eventually, it'll eat the whole global financial system.
Tokenization is a $400 trillion opportunity.
Okay. How exciting is this time? Seriously, how exciting is this to be able to have the knowledge to participate in what's about to happen to the financial system? Never in history have we had the opportunity to own a piece of the new financial system, but now everything changes. Power to the people, level the playing field. Let's go. I'm so excited. Also here, Chad Steingraber says Securitize to become a public company with an IPO valuation of $1.25 billion. This marks the first integration of RLUSD into Securitize's platform with additional use cases and assets planned. Securitize is also integrating with the XRP ledger to expand access and bring new utility to the XRP ecosystem. This is what I love to hear, new utility. There's also things that we don't even think about or know. You know, people developing new use cases around XRP, and I'm really excited to see what the EVM chain brings with all this new development. Remember, all of these projects developing on the XRP ledger now, all of those projects are going to require more and more XRP. If we already have some type of supply shock, there's not going to be enough XRP. You also need to think about what happens over the next 3 to 5 years when we have 100, 200, 500 million new people entering the crypto space. They're all going to be falling over themselves to buy Solana and XRP and Ethereum, not understanding that we've been here the whole time. This is really going to help us have plans later on if we want to exit or take loans against our XRP, whatever your strategy is that you've figured out. This is going to help all of that. Partnering with Ripple to integrate RLUSD into our tokenized infrastructure is a major step forward in automating liquidity for tokenized assets, said Carlos Domingo, co-founder and CEO of Securitize. I just did a full video on Securitize about 2 days ago on Sunday. If you're interested in getting that full breakdown, I'll remind Cas to link it, guys. I know sometimes he doesn't. I do apologize. We're just making so much content. There's so many things going on. I'll do my best. Uphold will launch a digital asset loan starting in December in Florida first. Uphold has been making a lot of news recently. It's really exciting to see they are one of the biggest supporters of XRP on the planet when it comes to an exchange here in America. And I'm really excited to see what all of this brings here in 2026. I will bring you everything that you need to know about these collaborations. This is from Business Insider. Of course, this comes from the San Francisco Bay Area, my home. I love it. Uphold opens up easier access to Exactly protocol. Customers can earn yield and borrow against their digital assets. Loans can be spent using a Visa credit card. Digital assets supported by the service include XRP, ETH, USDC, and Bitcoin. So this is a way, there's going to be people that don't want to sell their digital assets. So what do you need to do? You need use cases like this where you can go get a loan off your digital assets and then use that money to do whatever you were thinking to do in your life. Uphold is making it easier for those on and off ramps to be able to do that. Great to see. All right, countdown to 100 million ledgers on the XRP ledger. Ladies and gentlemen, we are getting very close here to 100 million ledgers. I, of course, will keep you fully updated once we cross that threshold. JP Morgan says upcoming altcoin ETFs could draw $14 billion in inflows. The bank sees XRP ETFs as 8 billion of the 14 billion. This is exciting. So, you have this Evernorth institutional treasury way to go, right? You also have this ETF way. Regardless of how all of this unfolds, it's going to be billions of dollars in fresh inflows. And this is just in the short term. We need to understand that, right? Most people are looking at what is the price today? What is the price tomorrow? I honestly don't care about the price today or tomorrow. I care what the price is in 2 to 5 years. That is the time frame that I'm willing to accept. I'm not even going to look at it really because I just care about the end goal, the end result, and I'm going to push, buy as much as I can, and do everything I can in that time period to make as much impact in this community as I possibly can. And I appreciate all of the support you've given this channel, guys. Thank you so much for supporting this content and this video. I really, really do appreciate it. BlackRock's Larry Fink says owning crypto assets or gold is a hedge against currency debasement. I just did a great video about currency debasement over the weekend. If you missed that, go check it out. Let me play this.
If you believe that countries are going to continue to debase their currency, if you believe that there's going to be global rise of insecurity, owning crypto assets or gold are assets of fear. You own these assets because you're frightened of the debasement of your assets, you're worried about your financial security, you're worried about your physical security, and between crypto assets and gold, they believe, there's a strong belief that is a good hedge against optimism.
Okay. Jamie.
Listen, this is a meeting, right? This is the board of Changeman Georgianomics. Listen, they have this meeting once a year. I can't remember the name. I do apologize, but some of the most wealthiest people in the world and some of the people that are in control of the biggest financial institutions in the world come to this event and they listen to what some of the leaders or thought leaders in this space are saying. And they're telling you that they're worried. Customers are currently worried. You and I are currently worried that central banks are debasing the currency. They're just printing, spending to infinity, and this never ends. And the way that we can fight back, because if we just leave our money in our bank account and they keep printing, our money keeps losing its spending power and it's debasing the currency. And the way we can fight against that a strategy that people use is gold, silver, and cryptocurrency. And this is why I have a lot of my wealth in the crypto industry, because I believe this is the future of technology and financial innovation. And when you have Larry Fink basically telling you what we already know, it really starts to bring home. All right, and then Ripple is Ripple's 120-day review for its national banking license ends in 2 days. We know that it's usually the shortest term is 120 days after the application is submitted. Usually it could take nine months sometimes, but usually after 120 days, we should get some kind of understanding of maybe what's to come here. So what is to expect after 120 days? The 120-day timeline is a procedural benchmark used by the OCC. But while some OCC decisions occur within this window, the actual approval or rejection often takes 12 to 18 months. So this could take a much longer period. Now, there is I don't want to say rush because that might be the wrong word here, but there is a push to get some of this infrastructure set up to give these companies access to these national bank charters where they can get a Fed master account and really start moving this infrastructure. So there might be somebody in the Trump administration that goes to the OCC and say, hey, let's push this forward a little more quickly and let's not wait this 12 to 18 months. As soon as I have information and an update on this, ladies and gentlemen, I will bring it. Make sure that you are subscribed and you have that bell notification turned on, because I will bring it hot and ready once we get it. As of now, the firm has no guarantee that a definitive yes or no will be made public. Yes, yes, yes. I did want to take a look here at once the national banking license does get approved, like what is it going to mean for Ripple and XRP? Because I know a lot of people have that question. If Ripple secures a U.S. national banking license, this shift would be transformative for both Ripple and the utility value proposition around XRP. Ripple would be a federally chartered trust bank, allowing it to directly custody digital assets, offer institutional settlement, and provide fiduciary services nationwide without the patchwork of state-level restrictions that limit most crypto firms today. Ripple would gain direct access to FedWire and FedNow payment rails, unlocking real-time settlement and capabilities using blockchain alongside digital asset systems. This could be the one thing that we are waiting for that really does start to jumpstart the Federal Reserve using XRP, right? This is what we believe could happen. We do know that the FedNow system is not a blockchain-based system. It's a centralized system at the Fed where the Fed handles the settlement. The banks are connected to the Fed. The Fed handles the settlement. The settlement is instant. It's usually about 20 cents. But we know the Trump administration has been pushing forward with blockchain rails. And so to replace FedNow, the only way you're going to be able to do that is to go to a blockchain infrastructure company like Ripple. And if you take a look here, right, this is a US payment system. They would choose a US company to do this. Remember, the government is often not really good at creating new technology. They cannot go out and hire, the brightest and best from all around the world. The government salary is still a government salary. Ripple could pay a whole lot more to bring in top talent to design new systems. And I start to wonder, what is the plan here, and how much of that plan involves Ripple and XRP? Elevate Ripple's legitimacy in the eyes of institutional partners, allowing it to scale for tokenized assets offerings. So getting a national banking license, then Ripple, right now, Ripple probably has no problem getting into meetings and talking with some of the biggest institutions. We've already seen some of these partnerships with BlackRock and VanEck and all these other companies, but this would be a different level, right? I don't think there would be anything holding Ripple back at this point. I still think there's nothing holding them back now, but there are people that doubt XRP's utility. There are people that doubt Ripple, the company. And I think this would maybe quiet some of that FUD or that hating, but all good, man. And then what it means for XRP: institutional adoption, network utility, direct influence, and market impact. Lots of really cool things happening here. Also, Oracle is jumping in here. Oracle launches digital assets data nexus platform for banks to build tokenized assets, stablecoins, and CBDCs. The only hard part here is these are going to be private systems. And when they're private systems, you might not have enough, all that liquidity that comes with something like the XRP ledger, Solana, or Ethereum. So we'll have to see how all of this unfolds and who's going to start using it. Then, of course, Ripple generates revenue without depending on XRP sales. I thought this was helpful to add here at the end. Ripple generates revenue through XRP-related activities, enterprise software licensing, and transaction fees from its global RippleNet infrastructure. RippleNet participates pay usage-based fees tied to transaction volume, creating a scalable recurring revenue stream beyond network operations. Ripple earns returns from strategic investments in blockchain and fintech ventures and through its line of credit product, which provides on-demand liquidity for cross-border payments. These initiatives diversify Ripple's revenue base beyond XRP sales, building a more resilient business model aligned with traditional financial institutions entering the digital asset space. Are you guys bullish on Ripple XRP? How is this news coming across to you? Let me know down in the comments. Thank you for spending this time with me. It's always an honor. I was tipping my imaginary cap to you. I hope you have a great week going forward. Let's get it.